What's up, weather fans? It's Alex back here with your snow forecast for Friday, and I'm getting real excited about this system. So, I promised you I will come back before Christmas break. Happy Christmas Eve today. For anyone celebrating Christmas Eve and, having fun, I wish you all the best, and I wish you guys a happy early Christmas Eve. Okay, so we got a lot to talk about. It's been quite windy here this morning, but that's not the main part. We're going to be talking about the extremely heavy snowfall that can be falling down on Friday. So let's take a look at this. So this is for your Friday. Let's say this is for your 3 p.m. on Friday. And I was talking about the onset of the precipitation, how I think it's going to come in later, which is very good, because I'm going to work from 2 to 7. And watch what happens. 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Look at that heavy burst of snow. This could be some very heavy snow. Light snow on the onset, but then that heavy snow comes in 7 p.m. And that is just going to be 1, 2, even 2.5 inches per hour right off the bat. Then we get to 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m. And then we get some ice to it. So, if we take a look at the 6ZR gem, it was a little different. And, same idea. 7 p.m., light snow. I'm still going to be at work, but I think the main snow axis that I'm going to, catch on is going to be 7:30 to 1 a.m. That is when we could see our very heavy snow really start to pile up, and that's when we can see a Thundersnow potential in there. So, be ready for that. I think this could be some ridiculously heavy snowfall. In the meantime, Pennsylvania is getting a crippling ice storm, as much as a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of ice. That is going to cause a lot of power outages, a lot of ice wing branches and trees and power lines. It's all going to weigh down, and it's just going to start snapping everything. So, yeah, a really scary situation for PA, especially like Pittsburgh, State College, and even into Philadelphia. I think you guys can have a formidable ice storm. Now we get into 8 p.m. And this...
This is the National Weather Service Office and Brookhaven National
Whoops. Sorry guys, that was a National Weather Service test on my radio. If you guys didn't know, they do a weekly test before any significant winter storm events like this one, so that's why they do it. Sorry about that. That was my weather radio testing for each Wednesday, and especially because of this, they issued it because of there's a massive winter storm headed us for Friday, so they're making sure the weather alerts work and everything, so that's why they're doing it. But anyways, 8 p.m. on Friday, that snow is vomiting in parts of New Jersey and New York City. Eastern PA, Allentown, you guys are getting bombed with snow. This is snow 1 to 2 inches or even 3 inches per hour at this point. Such ridiculously heavy snow. And then we get into 9 p.m. Oh my days. And you see that purple over Middlesex County into Long Branch? That could be 3 inches per hour, and that's why I'm saying Thundersnow is going to become more possible as we get on through the evening. And this is why I'm saying there could be some surprise thunderstorms in that snow. And I would not be surprised. I was warning about that the whole entire week, and I think this is certainly possible. Our gem is really going out right now. Oh my God. Some purples over central New Jersey. That is indicative that we may be able to see some lightning strikes in that snow. That will be insane. I mean, it really would. And, we were talking about it yesterday, how it's going to be a quick hitter, but that 6-hour window, dude, you could pile up to a foot of snow in some parts of New Jersey. It's going to be crazy. And unfortunately, with the video yesterday, we couldn't record it because it ran out of storage, so we had to re-record it today. But, Getting back on track here, I mean, this storm is going to be very significant for several hours, and the timing has shifted back into Saturday 6, 7 a.m. Oh my god, 6, 7. 6 and 7 a.m. in the morning, and it's a longer duration event now. So I think we could pile up even more snow than what we were originally thinking. I think it could be actually a really interesting setup we're getting into. So, this could be pretty nasty. Pretty nasty. So, okay. 10 p.m. Snow continuing, and now you're gonna notice that icy mix, that sleet, freezing rain starting to mix over in the Philly suburbs. Really, Pennsylvania getting nailed by the system. Even Western Pennsylvania is getting rain from this thing. So you just notice how dynamically crazy this thing's gonna be. It's gonna be wild. I mean, I still can't get over that purple that could come over 9-10 p.m. in central New Jersey. That is gonna be some wild stuff. Then we get into midnight, 1 p.m., 2 a.m. Look at this. We even get an icy mess across central New Jersey into maybe even northern New Jersey. Ice could accrete as much as 1/4 of an inch here. So we're gonna have to watch this ice later. But that heavy snow, man, I'm telling you, there could be some very shocking Thundersnow reports out of that. I would not be completely shocked out of that. And then the snowfall, let's just take a look. It's a little less on the icon than earlier, but it just gives you a good idea. We're gonna be looking at half a foot. Half a foot is pretty likely at this point. Now, GFS. Oh, dear GFS. Yes, GFS. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you 1 p.m. Yeah, pretty much dry. 7 p.m. light snow, probably a coating to an inch, but then that real heavy duty stuff picks up later, and then even continues out through 1 p.m. on Saturday. So the storm is starting to get longer and longer in duration. What that tells me is that we could have heavy snow until, let's say, 4 a.m. I mean, a very significant time window. And you notice from the total snowfall that we go to, maybe a coating of an inch to 1 p.m., 7 p.m., maybe a barely an inch on the ground, but then watch how we add the totals up once we get 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. Boom! Half a foot already in just maybe 3 to 4 hours. Half a foot. So this tells me how heavy these snowfall rates need to be for tomorrow. This could be wild stuff, really crazy stuff. 1, 2, maybe even 3 inch per hour snowfall rates. This is going to be coming down very heavy. And then getting into 7 a.m., look at this. We add on another 3 inches. And this is wild stuff. We add 2 or 3 more inches, getting 7 inches, getting even more. So the end total, I think it's going to be around 8 to 12 inches around New Jersey. I think that's a very reasonable guess, especially for central New Jersey. Anywhere north of Trenton has a formidable solid chance of getting 8 to 12 inches. Even in New York City, where you have usually that rain-snow mess problem, I think you should be all snow for this. I think New York City is going to really be the jackpot for this thing to really come through. Now, the heaviest snow axis is still formidable. I don't know if it's going to be north central New Jersey or is it going to be North Jersey and southern New York. Where's that heavy axis of snow going to happen? I'm still debating. I think it's going to be over central and North Jersey, but I just can't be too for sure yet. And it's a sharp cutoff as you go up north into Maine. Barely anything. So, this is going to be wild. This is going to be wild for sure. It definitely will. The last 6Z, yeah, it's literally almost the same thing. So, I think we're locked in. And then, getting into actually January 1st here, this is going to be very interesting. Because I think what we're going to start to see is that Monday, our pressure gradient is going to start to tighten. But then Tuesday, these gusty northwest winds really pick up. And that's when I think we may have a damaging wind event potentially. And then look at for the 1st of January. I'm really watching this very closely. The GFS doesn't show it, but I think it's kind of wrong, because I think by the time we get into the 1st, that's when our real shot of cold air comes in. And the European, yes, there is some wind on Tuesday, but the bigger story of the wind is definitely going to be on January 1st. And that's when your snow squalls increase for the whole entire Northeast, and even New Jersey snow squalls. And then the wind behind this thing, holy, it's going to be gusty. 978 up there in southern Maine. That is going to be some very gusty winds. And I'm afraid this could be some damaging winds as well. Just some very gusty conditions. And I think that could be our next winter storm to watch. If that Clipper trends more powerful, more south, that could be another big snow event. So, again, the Clippers take over. But some of these Clippers are going to pack a real big punch. And then we're going to start talking about Miller A nor'easters later into January, into February. Now, when is that ticking time bomb going to happen? Like I said in the last video, we don't know that yet. But what I can tell you is that these temperatures, wow. Yeah, those temperature anomalies look nasty. Okay, so this is the European for your temperatures for, let's say, Friday. And you notice that most of New Jersey is doing pretty well. Below freezing most of the time. So we are solidly getting snow. And then that next system warms up a little bit. But then watch that Arctic air come through. Now the bigger surge of Arctic air is going to be near the 1st in the New Year's. And watch what happens. You get negatives in New York. Look at these temperatures by the time we get into Friday morning. 4 degrees in Trenton, 0 degrees up there in New City, New York, and then these negatives up there. Oh my God, that is some brutal cold air. And unfortunately, I don't see this stopping. So, the models are completely wrong in this torch, because you can just notice that it's a big Clipper pattern, and that we're gonna start to notice these big Arctic blasts, and it's really gonna start to continue. So I think we're gonna keep on seeing these bowling ball troughs digging out throughout the Northeast. The Northeast is really gonna be favored for snow and Arctic air for the whole entire January and February. I don't see this pattern changing. Why? MJO phases 8, 1, and 2, they're all freezing cold. They are all supportive of very significant snows. And then once we get into January 1st, we're going to get that MJO phase to favor some nor'easters and blizzards. So it's going to be quite crazy for some of you in January and February. That's why I'm saying this could be a memorable snow event. So anyways, guys, have a great rest of your Christmas break. And I will see you guys in the next one.